in it, and I was like, oh shit, you were a bounty hunter back then too. That's crazy. And Bosk was like in the episode before that, and I was like, shit, man, look at you young motherfuckers.
Forgot about Greedo being in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, like all kinds of Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett was in it, and I was like,
Yeah.
look at this look. Like, as soon as I saw him, I
infiltrating
was
the
like,
clone ships. Yeah.
my wife, I walked in the room and I was like, that's Boba Fett. I was like, I can tell by the way he's not paying attention to the instructions.
And was she just what was she impressed with your detective skills?
She was not, if you can believe it.
I can't. I can't believe
I can't either.
Anybody wouldn't be overwhelmed by your deductive reasoning in that instant. Yeah, Star Wars, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that like that kind of stuff is probably. I hope it's the future of Star Wars. Honestly, I think episodic stuff is more fun in that kind of realm.
Yeah, and in fairness to the droid episodes and the Jar Jar episodes, I feel like they're very kid friendly episodes, you know, and just because they're not necessarily like when you do Clone Wars, it's like I'm kind of interested in seeing the war.
Yeah.
You know, they do some amazing action sequences in that show, like
they
stuff
really
that
do.
we never, like motion picture level, like staging in some of those episodes.
Yeah, like and the space battles are a lot of fun, and like oh man, anytime Grievous shows up, I'm like, I'm in for a bitchin' lightsaber fight. I fucking know it. And then like you kind of get like what I've been seeing lately is like it really makes what happens between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith like make a lot more fucking sense. Like Obi-Wan and Grievous like have a thing, you know, like that's like why it's such a fucking personal battle, like in Revenge of the Sith. Even though like at the time, like you watched it, like when we watched it, we're like, what? Like what? Why is that? Like, why is he so pissed? Like, or why is it like such a thing? You know, like, and now you have this whole history of like their fights, and I think that's really a fun, again, another world building thing that I really like.
It makes the prequels better by existing because it fills out those characters and invests them with more than the films. So it's kind of like he got a second shot at telling that story, most of it. So like you could actually just start really with the Clone Wars if you wanted to and just kind of move forward. Because I actually still like Revenge of the Sith pretty well.
Me too.
You know, for all its faults, like I think it's better than Rise of Skywalker. Shots fired.
You heard it here first, folks.
I've only seen Rise of Skywalker once, so I should probably watch it again.
It's like on Disney Plus too. Like it's so easy.
I mean, I have it. I have the disc. I've got the box set of all of them. It's just Attack of the Clones really took it out of me, Star Wars wise, for a while. I'm like, I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still kind of on my Aliens kick.
Yeah.
So,
still?
Yeah.
Are you back? Are you into like comic books and stuff now?
Yeah. I'm doing the Dark Horse comics from the 90s.
Oh man, see the 90s, man. When I'm like, remember you go in the comic shop and you'd be like, yeah, man, there's fucking Superman, there's fucking Bat. Oh, what fucking aliens doing over here? What's Predator doing over here? Like, what are those guys up to?
They're up on the top shelf. Why?
Yeah.
At Lone Star.
Yeah, those are fun days. Comic shops in the 90s.
And you know what's crazy looking at the art and everything is like how primitive it looks by today's standards. Like if you look at a comic book made today, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it was pre-computer and now in a post-computer coloring world, you know, I think a lot of artists work primarily digitally, even like pencilers and stuff. Like, you know, that old poster board thing that, you know, that they used to work on. I don't think most artists do that anymore.
I hadn't really thought about how technology would have changed. I mean, I obviously stylistically I've seen the change. Like if you fucking look at Crisis on Infinite Earths and then you look at like, you know, like 52, like, okay, like you can tell there's like a stylistic difference, but like I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, obviously computers infiltrate every other part of our life. We're literally like doing a fucking radio show on one, but
yeah, exactly. We well, you know, I think of all of our group, I'm probably the one who kept up with comics most after after high school. I go through phases, but I've kept up fairly semi-regularly with at least what DC is doing.
Speaking of DC, man, did you hear about them being like, "Fuck you"? The Diamond distributor, what the big comic company?
Diamond is the big distributor. Yeah, that's what did they? No, I didn't hear about this. What happened?
They were like, DC was like, we're gonna distribute with 2 other companies now, like, and that's a pretty big deal apparently. And like the article I read was primarily like comic book store owners being like, I fucking don't know if I can like pay like what DC is going to charge me per book, the kind of discounts I was getting with the other distributor.
With Diamond, yeah.
Like they're like, but and someone else brought up a good point. They were like, but Diamond kind of has a fucking monopoly on it if they have those 2 fucking like companies. So, there's that aspect of it as well. But yeah, they were like, we're going to distribute with like, I think it's a company that I didn't read a whole lot about like what was happening, but I know they are not being distributed by Diamond.
Well, I think both of let's get real nerdy here for a second.
Our fan, please.
Conan, one of our, will probably know more about this than we do, since he actually works in that industry. But I think both of the big 2 have abandoned Diamond in the past and then come back to them. Like, I think Marvel threw them over at one point because they were going to sell. This was right before they went bankrupt in the 90s.
I was about to say, this is like 90s Marvel, right? Like, this feels like a 90s Marvel move. Like, when they were like, yeah, let's start a toy company. I don't know. Like, who cares? Let's do it.
They bought Toy Biz.
Yeah, that's what they were like, fuck it. Let's just fucking buy it. They make our figures. What if we make our figures? What if we just buy them?
Yeah. Well, I think that the 90s, it's funny because that was our comic book era, but like in a lot of ways, like especially the early 90s really fucked up that industry pretty bad. Like the death of Superman, and the superstar artists, the Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld getting millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Rob Liefeld being in a Gap jeans commercial.
Was he really?
Directed by Spike Lee.
Oh wow, that seems very, very 90s. Not that Spike Lee's not relevant or anything anymore, because like he's still making really great films, but that just specifically felt very 90s.
That combo, yeah. Gap, Rob Liefeld, who if you don't know who Rob Liefeld is, listeners, go Google Captain America Rob Liefeld, and you will see maybe the worst piece of art a professional has ever been paid to do of Captain America.
I don't know that I've ever seen this. I'm going to Google it. Captain America Rob Liefeld?
Yeah. You should know the image when you see it. Hang on. I might. Did you find it?
Is it this one? I'll show it to you on the camera.
Yep, that's the one. Cap with boobs.
Wow, he's like, it's like he started drawing his chest, or it's like he took like 2 different pieces of artwork and put them together.
Yeah.
Because Captain America is like thick with it here, man. Like he is like
2 feet thick.
he's thicker than his fucking shield. This is definitely a. It is and like the you're right. This is atrocious. The fucking the star on his chest. Like, why do I see all of it? How is he even like putting his chest like this? Like, this is insane. He's
supposed to be standing in profile, but like.
Hello? Oop, we lost him. But should be fine. All right,
I was talking shit about you, so I think it was still recording.
What if it was? I'll have to like listen back and I'll hear it.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave this part in though, because now I know that I wasn't talking shit to you. I was like, hello, I can't hear him.
I had a very specific thing I started saying about you, which is not true, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Just some made up Daryl trivia.
So yeah, this is an atrocious picture of Captain America.
Yes.
I don't like it. I guess in light of our recent recording snafu, should we do a sponsor? Should we pay a bill or two?
Yeah, so we can keep our internet.
Yeah, because clearly we're having some fucking issues.
They are calling our bluff right now. As
They
Chris,
really are.
Chris
Like,
Thompson would say.
I'm like really big on the like the whole cancel rent, all that shit, cancel this, cancel that, because our corporate overlords suck. But they should give us all internet. But anyway, so here is, everyone knows. Well, there's a place in New Mexico that a lot of people go. It's a very famous place. This is not it. But our sponsor here, we'll just go ahead and say the name. It's Carlsbad Cavern. Not to be confused with Carlsbad Cavern National Park. Carlsbad Cavern. It is a cavern in New Mexico, but it's not very cool. It doesn't have any.
Oh, go ahead. It doesn't have any.
It doesn't have any stalactites or stalagmites.
It's really refreshing in the modern day and age when most businesses thrive on hyperbole to see a business that's just upfront about what it is. That is not lying in any respect. The guy who owns it, his name's actually Carl.
It is. Carl with a K, also not to be confused with Carlsbad Cavern.
Right.
There are no bats. That's a big thing at Carlsbad Cavern.
What would they hang on? Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It's probably more like, I don't think this is a natural formed cavern, to be honest with you. The photos that he sent, and it looks like the website hasn't been updated since the 1990s. It has one of those like under construction little digger guys.
Hammering.
So the pictures don't look great. It doesn't really look like a cavern at all, to be honest with you. It looks more like an old bomb shelter that they just like ripped out the walls on. But you know what? That's like you said, refreshing.
Refreshing. Like admission. How much is admission, Daryl? I mean, what do you, for this experience, what could a visitor expect to pay?
This is a pay whatever you want sort of thing. This Carl is actually he is a radical thinker. He's not a capitalist by any means, clearly. Although he is paying to put this on his, so maybe he is a little bit of a capitalist.
Well, he needs to make ends meet. The government's going to take that cavern away if he can't pay his property taxes.
Yeah, and he hasn't been able to, which I think is why he's actually. There is a minimum. It's $53 is the minimum donation. But you don't have to pay it. Like, you don't have to pay it. But like,
so you can't just come in and pay $10. It's either nothing or $53. I mean, I can see why he's having trouble making money.
He doesn't get too many visitors.
Also, where is this located in New Mexico, by the way?
It is unincorporated territory.
Outside of Tucumcari.
It is, it's off of, it's pretty close to the it's not really close to the interstate. You got to actually drive like 6 miles, like off the interstate. You get on some weird dirt roads. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, I couldn't go on my Prius. We had to like actually rent like a 4x4 to get there. So the gift shop was also not great. He doesn't really have anything but like some old pallet boards that he like stenciled Carlsbad Cavern on. It's supposed to be like live, laugh, love sort of.
Does he sell any merchandise? Like, could if you can't get out there, could you buy a T-shirt or a pin or a sticker, maybe?
Yeah, they're like secondhand T-shirts that it'll have like a painter's logo, Rex's painting on the front, but
Right.
on the back he had one of those Cricut machines, and he